So, then I am.
Hey, that boss didn't die. It ran away.
Yeah, it did. Now I'm more than a little convinced that there was a different writer in charge for season 1 of Sunshine, because then season 2 would go on to not only undo a lot of the things that it was setting up to do that was different and good from the original Love Live, but would actually then kind of backpedal on them and start doing them again. Such as reducing a lot of characters to just tropes, a lot of just every time they speak that you have memes basically that they were known for, etc., etc. You can probably make that if you jump from the. Okay, there we go.
Just needed the right angle.
Yep. It's really annoying because season 1 of Sunshine was genuinely so fucking good. But, like, I put it as a 7 out of 10. The original show, I gave on my anime list, I gave season 1 of series 1 a 4 out of 10. I gave season 2 a 3 out of 10 because somehow it was just that bad.
So it's worth providing some context in that Love Live School Idol Project, the original anime, is the most basic cookie cutter stereotypes of teenage girls that you can possibly imagine.
Yeah.
And because of that, it doesn't really delve into much of their actual characters or who they are as people much at all. And the ones they do end up coming out better than worse, and some of them never get any actual development or spotlight episode, period. Umi famously never got an episode to herself at all. And some of the characters that also just got roped into other characters' stories without having a defining moment for their own.
Yeah.
In the anime, there is no character whatsoever to mock. So on and so forth. Some characters are already just memes or become stereotypes as soon as their episode ends. So there wasn't a whole lot of characterization going on. There are only 2 out of the original 9 that are really good or likable. The rest are just trope. That's it.
Yep.
So Sunshine made a lot of strides in actually having fully developed, realized characters in its first season. Some of them getting as many as 3 or 4 whole episodes to themselves to develop.
Yeah.
That would be unheard of both going forward and in the past. So to say that season 2 took all of that and put it into a meat grinder would be doing an injustice to how bad they screwed up those characters.
Yeah.
Back to zero. Back to negatives, honestly.
Season 1 of Sunshine for me was like a 7 out. I think I was generous and gave it a 7 out of 10. It was
Yeah,
genuinely...
season 1 is really good. I hold it in especially high regards. I liked it enough that back in the day I actually bought it. I didn't do that for any of original Love Live.
Yeah. Like, genuinely, I was like, this is not only just a good Love Live product or the best one so far, but this is a genuinely good show in general. It's fucking nuts. Season 2 would then undo all of that goodwill. And back down to, I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure I gave it 3 out of 10. I would be surprised if I didn't.
Probably.
Let's not getting to the movies. I'm gonna talk about those. So now, normally this is where I talk about show 3. Haven't gotten there yet. But
we only needed the context of the first 2 shows in order to play this game. I'm gonna show him Series 3, the best one, and Series 4, the worst one, later on. But they weren't important in order to make this game playable.
Yeah, I guess maybe it's a light context for the later shows should be given. So I don't believe seasons 3 or 4 have reached the same sort of like insane popularity that Sunshine's original show had reached. Is that a fair assumption to make?
I would say so, but that's also sort of on the fact that you've done 4 generations of this show in 10 years.
Yeah.
Don't you think you guys have a problem? You want to slow down? It's hard to appreciate the characters we have when you keep throwing new ones our way.
Yeah, I think part of that is just because, like, even when you're like on any sort of social media website when one of these is coming out, I saw a lot of posts for our original show when it was happening, even for a little while after that, and
it got a lot of memes back in the day.
Sunshine, especially, I'm seeing a lot of. But seasons 3 and 4, I just didn't see series 3 and 4. I just didn't never see much for it at all. Excuse me. Most of what I know right now isn't through memes or like any posts. It's mostly through you. Like, I genuinely did not see much going on at all during that time period where they were coming out.
It's one of those sorts of things where, unless it is the biggest thing on the planet, the further along you go in it, the more people are going to be filtered out.
Yeah.
Where it's like, to use an example that our audience is going to be more familiar with, you probably remember Naruto as being the biggest anime on the planet in 2005 to 2008, we'll say. How many of those kids that you were selling clothes, headbands, light switch covers to do you think actually made it to the end of Naruto the manga in 2014? I would hazard to say half or less if you're being generous.
I'll actually do.
It's a matter of how long a product goes on for.
I'll do you one better actually. Attack on Titan. Season 1 was impossibly popular back in the day. It was like that and Sword Art Online, which is what anyone was talking about back then.
The mainstream anime.
Season 2. First of all, Season 2 takes forever to happen for Attack on Titan.
4 years.
4 years. And it took a little while to get to that one. And as a result, probably maybe because it was a cooldown period, or maybe it was because that it just didn't grip people the same way. But no one really talked about it at all, which I think is first of all, again, obviously, I think it's a crying shame. I think Season 2 is fucking phenomenal. Like,
Season 2 was a bit of a lull. The crowd came back in time for Season 3.
It took why I thought was a 5 or 6 out of 10 show to like a fucking 9, like with one fucking season. I'm like, my god, this is crazy.
Absolutely.
But like, I guess to give that perspective, we haven't reached our, like, Love Live hasn't had their Season 4 moment yet, I guess, in a manner of speaking, but
it's not that kind of show. I don't think it's gonna happen. And the other thing is that they try to make it infinitely accessible by each new show being a wholly new cast, now completely unrelated and basically on a different planet from each of the other shows.
Yeah, I'm not insinuating like they're gonna have like they're building to a final season or anything. I'm more insinuating that
they're not gonna have their Avengers moment.
They haven't had, well, not even that. Like they haven't reached, like they haven't had a new show that just actually takes off like the original does. Like they're kind of been, I don't want to say spinning their wheels, but they haven't really been able to like reach that old zenith they did before. But
I would agree with you. That's generally true. Doubly so since people have it's sort of contentious. Series is 3 and 4. People don't like them as, so it's not about people liking them less or more. It's about them not being as popular. Of course, it's again the same
saturation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, actually, this is going to feed into my point. So, the whole thing I was building up to with how series 3 and 4 have not reached that same apex of popularity that series 1 and 2 had. Now we get, and what was originally an April Fool's joke, which was Yohane having a standalone anime, actually turned out to be real. And not only did that had a series onto itself, which is this spin-off thing we're talking about right now, and then that bled into a game. Now, to talk about the Yohane thing for a second, it's very interesting. Oops. That was a pretty funny animation, though. So, where was I going with this? So, I feel like what might be happening is, I think Sunrise is trying to bring back some, it's probably not anime by Sunrise for all I know. I think what's going on is I think they're trying to kind of recapture some of the old audience by, instead of making a new series that panders more to that old audience, they're just bringing back that old series in wholesale. In this case with Sunshine, because I think it did have like that much popularity.
It did the best numbers overall.
Yeah. And I gotta say, it's very unfortunate that there's not much competition, but yeah, this is one of the best Love Lives I've seen so far. Like,
I thought you were going to say in the idol market, and I was about to rebuke you with the fact that we just this past spring got a new Idol Master anime in the form of Cinderella Girls 149, which is based off of the younger group of children from Cinderella Girls, which was actually a lot better than I would have ever given it credit for before having seen it. And upcoming, we have an anime for the most recent Idol Master mobile game, Shiny Colors.
Yeah.
So they're going full steam ahead over there.
Oh yeah, no, Idol Master is
while torching Side M for fuel.
Yeah. Oof. But no, my whole point about that was I'm pretty sure they're trying to bring back some of their old audience back in with a spin-off of the original show, while kind of tapping into a genre that unfortunately has had its own share of massive issues with not isekai, but like kind of introducing more RPG elements as a whole.
To be clear, you haven't seen the RPG depth yet. To be clear, this is just a fantasy anime. It's not isekai. It's weird. We have cities that are.
Nope.
We have cities that do have electricity and function like modern towns.
Yeah.
And also, for some reason, we have Numazu, the Amish village.
Yep.
Makes no sense to me, but sure.
Yeah, it's like a really weird overlapping of like modern day and like some sort of like past kind of like like fantasy setting. It's interesting, I will say that. But also like a weird disconnect. But Love Live not explaining things, I'm totally I kind of expect by now.
Yeah.
Or having like opposing elements going on. Yeah, this is not unknown to me by now.
Do not get me started on Love Live not explaining anything about how its system or contest works, because you know how I go on. Wait, if this, then this, then this, and also how does that function? But if this, because I will be on that for like 15 minutes. You've seen me do this.
Yeah, it's honestly better content than what the shows have usually been presenting sometimes.
Okay.
I make no bones about that. You're more entertaining than the show is sometimes.
Okay, so what exactly is the big deal about this contest? It's apparently nationally renowned. How come in the Sunshine movie, the parents of the kids from the new school were like, we don't know if they're good enough to be here because our school is nationally renowned for winning championships, even though we won a nationally renowned championship ourselves for music. Why are you looking down on us? What exactly does the Love Live contest accomplish? You get a trophy and a flag, I guess. Do you get a cash prize? Seemingly no. That it didn't do anything for Nico, who is poor and always in need of money.
How does the voting process work? Is it voted by a small roster of people that are sitting in a committee, or is it voted en masse by the people watching?
Does it lead to? Is it basically the same as being on like a high school baseball team or something? Does it get you scouted for a proper idol agency? Does it look good on your transcript or your resume or what have you?
What happened to the girls who actually won the thing and then years later we hear nothing from? Obviously, we're the focus is more on a high school setting, but we don't know if this actually leads to anything successful in their lives. You can see where we're going with this, but yeah, it doesn't really explain half the fucking things that go on.
That's just off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure if I actually had like a written down version of that rant, it probably would go for like 5 minutes.
Probably. Justifiably so, because a lot of mechanics are not fucking explained about whatsoever. It's very funny and very silly. And yeah, so
what I say about that actually does come to a head later on, because in Series 4, there's a character who's had trouble with being a child actor, which is they want to be an actor, but they just don't get a whole lot of work. So one of the other girls from that show says, okay, you want to be in, explicitly the term they use is showbiz. Okay, if people know that you can sing and you can dance, maybe you'll get hired in the future. You should use this while you're a teenager as a springboard or a launching pad for your acting career in the future. Okay, do you want to show us how those two connect?
Yeah.
No, you're never going to bring it up again? Okay. Again,
one cool thing that Sunshine did do back in season 1 is that, like, sometimes the things that the girls actually do uniquely, like Kanan being a diver, that actually does kind of come up with the girls trying to, like, find inspiration for writing new songs.
Yeah, there's the bit in the beginning of season 1 where Rico has incredible writer's block and anxiety. And Chica's like, you'll find your inspiration under the sea.
Yep. Again, just like small things like that and whatnot. Mari's connection to a very wealthy dad being able to influence the course of events in the show.
Boy, it really reframes a lot of that.
Speaking of.
It reframes a lot of that show when you find out that the school that was closing, Ujira, whatever it was, or Onahoshi,
yeah,
is a Catholic school.
Yeah.
You only find that out in the manga, by the way.
Oh yeah, also the mangas for Series 1 and Series 2 are vastly different from the shows themselves, so that might be worth a look later on my part.
Neither of them ever got finished.
Ah, boy.
It's one of those cases of, hey, we're like 2 years into Sunshine. Why is this original manga still going? Why does it have 40 chapters with no end in sight? Monthly releases.
Wonderful. Anyway, it looks like Kanan was out for a dive in her definitely not mech, and just kind of ended up here.
You know what's funny that I didn't realize until reading the credits for this?
What's that?
Because I didn't know in the game. That robot, they're doing the thing again where they get a famous actor to play a tangentially related character.
Uh-huh.
This robot, that's Camille.
Okay. Wonderful.
We've finally circled the square on idols being sprung forth from the mecha genre with Macross / Robotech.
As well as being animated by the same studio that did create Gundam as well, yeah.
Yep.
All comes back around. Anyway, Kanan, hello. God, she is such a different character. Maybe it's worth bringing up first. All the characters in this show are basically like revamps of what they did back in the original show. And Kanan, where she was once easily the worst character by a country mile, now is somehow like in the upper mid tiers of character likability. It's kind of wild.
So you know what's funny about that, with the beautiful benefit of hindsight?
Shoot.
Because it had been something like 5 years, I think, since Sunshine first came out and she had her reign of terror.
Yep.
Because there were other characters that were either on par or worse than her, I actually started softening up on her.
Yep.
It's like, is she as bad as I remember? I guess not. There could be worse things. And then coming back to this now, it's like, oh no, you are exactly as bad as I remember, even worse.
I guess to clarify a little bit about that is the whole issue with Kanan is that she is directly responsible for a lot of bad shit that happens in season 1 by itself, with the story with Daya and Mari also.
The senior trio can be best described as gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss.
Literally, yeah, that's a sushi roll.
I'm gonna come back to this. We don't have the thing for this yet.
I'm gonna eat that. Sorry, unrelated. Dude, it looks. Why the fuck are you out here making enemies look delicious? God damn it, game. Anyway, yeah, it's weird because Kanan, like her. I'm not gonna recall her whole deal about everything makes her bad because that's gonna take me a while to recall everything. But
I can do it in short.
Shoot, go for it.
So, she knows, along with Kanan and Daya and Mari, that the school is going to be closing down 2 years ago. They find that out when they're freshmen. They're like, hey, the original Love Live series happened apparently 5 years ago, so there's enough time for Muse to have a story to get out and have gotten famous,
yeah,
that they were able to save their school. Hey, let's be idols ourselves, the three of us, and fix this problem. Oh, as it turns out, I care about my two friends more than I care about the school. Hey, one of my two friends just got the opportunity to go study abroad. I'm going to go and tell them to do that instead of doing this at the school, because her future is apparently more important than everyone else that's still at the school at the time. So I'm going to willingly say, you know what, we don't need to do the save the school thing. You go to Italy or America or wherever Mari was going to study abroad.
Even though Mari did not literally give two shits about studying abroad and cared more about her friends and her actual future, which even then, you have wealthy parents. How much prep do you fucking need to do anyway? Come on, woman. Also, again, you don't need to graduate and immediately go to college. I'm sorry, Japan. Like, you don't need to do that. Come on, guys. Sorry, yeah. I don't relate. But yeah, that's just like the general strokes, as well as having some unlikable personality traits as well. Like, very emotionally distant from everyone else at the start of the show for seemingly no discernible reason. Willingly telling information that could have actively benefited everyone, so on and so forth.
And then when Mari did come back and wanted to restart from where they left off, actively antagonizing her, saying that everything in the world is her fault to her face.
Yeah.
And if that wasn't bad enough, she never gets any repercussions for her actions, either abandoning her friends or the school. And they're like, yeah, we're going to solve this problem with hug. Hug. Hug.
Hug yourself off a cliff. Yeah, Daya has her own problems, like with being contradictory a lot of the time, with season 1 and season 2 being almost like different characters. But
I wasn't quite done with with Kanan. I'm close to done. And then later on, once she's part of the group and properly integrated, and it seems like she's going to be annoying but not an active hindrance, she decides, hey, I'm going to actively tell you not to do this move that we know for a fact would have really helped us win or something. It's like, this move will hurt you. This move will be the death of you. This move, if you fail it, you have to give up forever. This move ended up being a fucking backflip. I've seen people my size do a backflip.
I've seen some big dudes do back. It's not overly complicated. It's just very funny because like you look at her do it in the CG. It's like, Oh my god, she's gonna do it. It's like 2 flips. Oh. Okay, cool, I guess. Yeah, a lot of build-up for literally nothing. It's like learning... It gives me flashbacks because learning a Jack shot in fucking Final Fantasy X.
Yeah,
that was such a big thing, but it's like, it's not really that hard. Or, I mean, it's hard for a human to do generally, but like, getting Titus to learn it, it's not that hard at all, really. It's
No.
just like a few QTE presses, and that's it. Boom. Nice. But anyway, so, and then Kanan in Yohane's anime is actually so much different because she's not being a bitch. She's not actively hindering anyone. She's her job, I guess, is to actually salvage stuff from the ocean to help the environment and to also recycle and help with the town required materials and helps rebuild stuff. It's like, and that she's also a generally helpful character. So it's like, Jesus, we took what was bar none the worst character and through like just removing her from that context of just being like contradictory and hurtful to the story. Now she's actually pretty fine now. A little remarkable, sure, but like she's helping to rebuild the village and like actually recycles and has a noble cause about her. It's like, what, Jesus Christ, like literally that's all we had to do to fix her.
It's the meme of worst person you know makes a good point.
Yeah, exactly.
And I also, at the same time, I hate how much they were filleting her character to do that, saying that, hey, she's now the recycle queen. It's like, fuck off. Just give her a regular job. You don't need to call her God.
Gotta keep up appearances with the original. No, wait, no, yeah, I get it. Gotta give her some kind of title to keep her on par with the other two, which are Demon Queen and actual like mayor of the city. Gotta be able to make her look strong. No, I get it.
Student council president totally translates to I'm the mayor now.
Right. I will say my impressions of the Yohane anime have been overall net positive for the characters as they've been presented. We've had one tragic loss, but in the grand scheme of things, everyone else is generally pretty likable, and the ones that had like nothing to them, like Zoromaru. I think I got her name right, yeah.
Hanamaru. You got her catchphrase.
Right? Jesus Christ. Yeah, Hanamaru I think is generally better because she's actually got things to do.
She has a job.
She's supportive of Yoshiko / Yohane and is generally doing pretty good. Mari is somehow my favorite girl now, and I'm actually kind of blown away by that fact.
Her dad is Solid Snake.
Oof, yeah. I guess I should probably just run through them in general. Dai, I think, is not the same character personality traits, despite the fact that she rides a motorcycle.
She's an Ultraman.
Yeah, Ultraman. That was the one I should have gone for. The Yo is a little bit of a loss because she's a lot less interesting than she was before, and a lot less deep of a character. But
they capitalize on her being cheek as gaslighter.
Yeah.
By her being like, hey, you can help me with this, right? You can help me with this, right? Like every 10 minutes. It's great.
She I think is about net neutral. She does help actively in the plot, but she's not the main character anymore. And I guess she's not her season 2 incarnation anymore. Still pretty good. The big loss, however, was the red-haired girl who I cannot remember her name offhand. Rico. That was the big tragic loss because now her character is just memes and none of the depth from stage paralysis from before.